What if NASA had the U.S. military's budget? This is coming from the channel Second Thought, and this is a suggestion via Patreon. Guys, if NASA had that ridiculously immense budget that the military has, guys, I think we would be already exploring way further than we've probably have already, guys. Right? I'm not saying the exploration is every single thing, but I do think that probably our capitalist nature would probably be even crazier, because I do think that a lot of what we hold so dear here on this planet in terms of minerals are probably a lot more elsewhere, guys. Think about that for a second, all right? Like space mining, I can only imagine. But I don't think it will benefit the masses, though. I do think that it'll still be like in the pockets of a very small amount of people, though. Seriously. But all right, let's see what this is about, guys.
Space, the final frontier. Except we don't have cool spaceships because the US government has a bit of a thing for aircraft carriers, F-35s, and ships bristling with guns.
Okay.
The United States spends roughly $600 billion per year on the military, which is about 54% of the annual discretionary budget. By comparison, NASA only gets $18.5 billion per year, or less than 0.5% of the national budget.
And if you let a very small group of people speak on this topic, it's too much money. Bro, it's not enough money.
Now, we're not going to get tied up in debating whether or not the US needs such a massive military, but here's some quick facts in case you're interested. The next biggest spender is China at $190 billion per year. China has 500 of their Type 99 tanks, which are outclassed by the M1 Abrams, of which the US has 8,700. The US has 10 aircraft carriers. The rest of the world combined has 10. Smaller ones. There are 8,400 attack helicopters around the world. Of these, the United States owns 6,400. And those are just the vehicles. One single Tomahawk missile costs around $1.5 million. Then you have paychecks, fuel, ammunition, and all the rest. All those expenses add up to that whopping figure of $600 billion per year.
So we're buying that amount of things every single year, guys? Or is that the cost, like the one-time cost of these things? I mean, if we have 10 aircraft carriers and the rest of the world only has 10 with everyone, right? Are we literally buying 10 new ones every single year? Where's this money going?
The general public's interest in space exploration has gradually dwindled since the space race. And now that there are no pesky communists trying to steal the moon from its rightful owners, we haven't felt the need to spend significant resources on new missions.
Guys, I'm telling you, if you proposition it, right, to the government saying, hey, listen, you guys can get even richer, right? Instead of 10 aircraft carriers, you can have 1,000 of them if you invest into the space program, right? Think about this for a second, guys, right? Invest into the space program a whole lot of money yearly. Like, how about this? 10 times their budget, all right? I'm pretty sure you can do that. And then all of the minerals that you need. Imagine a whole planet where everything is gold, right? And then you start bringing that space gold back and then start ruining the market. Okay, listen. What about like diamonds and jewels? And, well, diamonds are not really that. Anyway, you get what I'm saying here, guys. Like things that are extremely necessary on Earth, but are not extremely plentiful, but could be plentiful on other planets. You bring these back and out of nowhere, right? Fort Knox is now full of gold again, right? The notes that you carry actually have value. You can go there and get that set amount of gold again. Let's go and do that. Tell them that. I think they'll love it, right? Personally, they'll love it, bros.
But what if by some strange turn of events, NASA ended up with the military's budget? What could they do with it? For a little perspective, the entire cost of the Apollo program was about $136 billion in 2007 dollars. $136 billion over 13 years, or just over $10 billion per year. Picture a clock representing $600 billion. Okay. 1 minute on that clock is $10 billion. One of the greatest scientific achievements in history fits into that tiny sliver of the US military budget.
Okay.
Pretty crazy.
Right.
We won't fuss about the little things like bureaucracy and research and development timelines in this video. We'll just think about the cool stuff.
Let's go.
First, NASA loves telescopes, probes, and satellites. With a massive budget, the 10 or 20 years it would have taken to launch all of their projects could be cut down to just 1 or 2 years. We would see telescopes that make Hubble seem like a Happy Meal toy.
We kind of already have that, guys. I mean, James Webb is absolutely phenomenal.
Infrastructure upgrades could be implemented to allow faster transmission of data from new missions. With all those resources in orbit, there would be new discoveries much more frequently, both on Earth and in the cosmos. That could rekindle the public's thirst for exploration. Possibly the smartest decision NASA could make would be to fund some smaller, privately owned space exploration groups.
Yeah, I'm good on that one right there.
Groups like SpaceX.
I don't think so. I think we need to keep it public, guys. If we start giving money to like these private entities in space, bro, imagine Elon Musk turns around the next day and says, you know what I'm going to do? Right? I'm going to go get the space gold for myself and bring it back here and sell it under the guise of exploration. Just make sure you go ahead and you grab a couple of metric tons of gold, space gold, right? Imagine. It's not okay, guys. It needs to be public. Not saying that, you know, these public entities won't do the same exact thing, right? But I do think that it's more likely that a private entity would probably be robbing us.
Which has an excellent track record of pushing the envelope. They could fund new space stations, reusable space planes, asteroid mining operations, and lunar bases. Pushing further out into science fiction territory.
Asteroid mining operations. That means that, guys, that means that our platinum, like stores of platinum on this planet, bro, platinum would be like aluminum.
Reusable space planes, asteroid mining operations, and lunar bases. Pushing further out into science fiction territory, once a lunar base is established, electromagnetic launchers on the moon could put large ships or space stations into lunar orbit, or on a trajectory to Mars or beyond. That would definitely be the fastest way to colonize Mars, having a sort of halfway house on the moon to stage future missions. The International Space Station cost about $100 billion spread out over a decade, so think of the enormous, highly advanced stations that could be built with 6 times that amount per year. That kind of money and a massive base of operations in orbit could support a core of thousands of active astronauts, with a few hundred at a time exploring the solar system in different simultaneous missions.
This would also shift the overall power. Not saying that America really doesn't already have that said power because of our absurd military, guys, right? I mean, we're kind of the bullies, unfortunately, guys. But I do think that if we start investing that amount of money into space, we would be worse, bro.
Serious planning,
but I want to see that
missions into the
not for the worst factor of it. Just I just want to see us, you know,
system. Though it might take several decades to become feasible, even with the massive budget. Then there's this beast that NASA has been putting off for years: a rotating wheel space station. This design has been a staple in science fiction and popular speculation since the early 20th century. The rotation would provide artificial gravity, something prevalent in films like 2001: A Space Odyssey, but not yet achieved in reality. A giant rotating wheel space station could be a mobile base of operations near any planet we wanted to colonize, and could be used as a safety net if something went wrong and the colony had to be temporarily evacuated. Or, if multiple stations were built, they could be placed strategically around the solar system as rest stops for journeys into deep space. Speaking of colonizing planets, with a $600 billion annual budget, it would be feasible to colonize Mars in as little as 10 years.
Guys, we obsess over Mars, bro. Well, I guess it's the... All right. Guys, I want somewhere else. I'm sick of our solar system. Can we go somewhere else, bro? Please.
Higher budget were spent on transporting people and supplies to Mars and shared rockets. In 10 years, we could potentially see a population of 40,000 people. Or, if NASA wanted to test the waters before sending a large population, they could spend the entire budget to send about 14 people per year in their own individual rockets and provide each person with over an acre of Martian terrain to call their own. Then,
listen, if I'm going and I'm colonizing Mars, bro, I'm sorry, you're going to have to give me more than an acre, all right? Give me 5,000 acres.
There are the intriguing celestial bodies currently out of reach to mankind. We could send robotic explorers to them all. Aircraft to Venus and Titan, submarines to Europa. Imagine what discoveries could be made in the vast oceans beneath Europa's icy surface. We could be just a few years away from uncovering extraterrestrial life, if only NASA had the military's pocketbook. Of course, these are all hypotheticals. But with that kind of funding to play with, it's obvious that the scientific world would be absolutely inundated with mountains of new data, and off-world colonies could become a reality easily within our lifetime, and maybe even interstellar travel. Who knows, maybe some Russian hackers will decide it's time for another space race, and switch around some zeros in the national budget. A man can only dream. If you enjoyed this video, please take a moment to subscribe to my channel by clicking here. It really does help me provide great new content every week. Leave a comment down below with what you think NASA should spend their giant budget on, or to let me know if I've missed anything.
Okay, all right, listen. I still think, after encountering this here, guys, I still think NASA should definitely get probably 10 times that amount of money. If you still want to keep it like super like light, at least $100 billion, bro. Give it to them. I think so. We can afford it and still have more than double what China spends, guys. Right? Give NASA that amount of money and just say, listen, go get us more money. I think that the government will love, guys, they would take it. Congress, imagine. Listen, hey, you're going to get more money now for doing nothing. Right? They'll love to hear that one, bro. Right? Come on. More gold? Space gold? Just bribe them with that nonsense, guys, right? But all right, listen. Let me know in the comments the next thing I should be checking out, guys, and I will get to that as soon as I possibly can. All right, then listen, you guys all have an absolutely amazing day and enjoy your day thoroughly.